Chapter 1. I woke abruptly, my heart hammering and a scream dying on my lips. For several seconds, I did nothing more than stare into the darkness of my bedroom, trying to find a reason for the fear that pounded through my veins. Though I'd rather weirdly become prone to prophetic dreams of late, it wasn't a dream that had woken me. The source of the fear was external, not internal. Aside from the usual creaks and groans of an old building, the apartment above the cafe I owned and ran with my best friend and fellow witch, Isabel, or Belle, as she preferred to be called, was silent. Nor was there any noise coming from the street outside, but that wasn't really surprising, given this part of Castle Rock was mostly retail, and everything here had shut down by 9. I pulled my phone out from under my pillow and checked the time. 12:25. Which was almost smack bang in the middle of witching hour, a time when those on the spectral edge of the world were thought to gain substance and reality. As a witch, even if a somewhat underpowered one, I knew the truth lay not so much with the time, but rather the position of the moon. Midnight was when she reached her highest point in the sky, and was therefore at her most powerful. Did that mean some sort of supernatural activity had woken me? I seriously hoped not. Only a couple of weeks had passed since we'd gotten involved in the hunt for a vampire hell-bent on revenge, and I'd only just recovered from the injuries received in that final bloody battle. The last thing this reservation, or indeed Belle and I, needed was another force of darkness finding its way here. And yet, Castle Rock was a place filled with wild magic. While such a force was, in itself, neither good nor bad, without a proper, fully vetted witch here to protect and channel it, it would inevitably draw those who followed the darker paths, or those who coveted such unrestrained power. And the Werewolf Council was, as far as I could tell, willfully ignoring the danger it represented. Either that, or they simply didn't believe in a force they were physically incapable of seeing. I scrubbed a hand across my eyes, then flicked the bed covers off and got up. The night was cold, despite the fact Christmas was now only 3 weeks away, and I shivered my way into track pants and a sweater before walking across to the door. There really wasn't that much living space up here on the first floor. Belle and I each had our own bedroom, and there was a separate toilet and bathroom. Beyond that, there was a small kitchenette and a living area that held a 2-person sofa and a TV. At the far end of the room were glass sliding doors that led out to a balcony that extended out over the sidewalk. It provided us with much-needed extra space, while giving weather protection to cafe patrons who preferred to use the sidewalk tables. I glanced to the left, studying the shadows that concealed the stairs leading down to the cafe. There was no sense of wrongness coming from that area, and the wards and spells I'd placed around the inside perimeter of the building were untouched and untroubled. I frowned and headed right, silently making my way across to the balcony door. The night air condensed my breath and my shivering increased. I hugged my arms across my chest and walked to the railing, my gaze drifting over the silent street and the nearby buildings. Castle Rock was the capital of the Faelan Werewolf Reservation, one of only 7 here in Australia. It had initially been the sole province of the O'Connor pack, but some long-ago human government had decided the 3 Victorian packs held too much land, and therefore too much wealth and power, between them, and had decided all 3 need to be on the one reservation. This one. Of course, the Marin and Sinclair packs had been as unimpressed with the idea as the O'Connors, and the resulting turmoil was the reason werewolves today were basically self-governing. Witches had been the driving force behind that peace deal, which was perhaps why some packs remained unhappy about a witch's presence on their land. But there wasn't much any of them could do about it, at least when it came to government-assigned witches. Aside from providing magical assistance when needed, reservation witches were also the government's mouthpieces and rule enforcers, which made this reservation's lack of an assigned witch all the more surprising.